In late April of last year, I decided to declare my faith publicly for my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ and get baptized. Reason why I'm doing this video is because I also wanted to share some things that really stood out from that moment, and to also share something that I actually thought about that I really feel like the Spirit revealed to me shortly before recording this video. When the decision came about, I wasn't actually gonna tell anybody, because for some reason I had this idea planted in my head that if I told everybody that I was getting baptized, that I was, being selfish, I was being prideful, I was gonna take away all the attention. But when I went to our becoming group the weekend before, the brother who was also in that becoming group shared that he was gonna be baptized that night. And I fought in my head and I said, wait a second. So I ended up telling my friends, and they were very happy for me. So I broke that lie and I decided to move forward with it. So the day comes and I just remember not being able to focus at all. I was at work daydreaming because rightfully so, I was nervous, like I was gonna be declaring my faith in public. I was just processing like everything that I had gone through up to this point. But we show up an hour early and they give us the run through where we'll be seated. We even got a chance to, feel the water and whatnot. And it was very warm. We go in, they get ready to start, and the video testimony show first. And I thought that I was gonna end up doing a video testimony, but when I made my decision to get baptized, they just sent me a text right away and said, you're gonna need this and this, you'll meet at this time, you'll be seated in this row. Like, I didn't even have the option to do the baptism class. That also meant that I would be doing my testimony live, and then the mic gets passed to me.
What's your name and why do you want to be baptized?
My name is Jimmy Garrison, and the reason I want to be baptized is I want to put behind all the old things that used to hold me back, such as poor self-esteem, trying to fit in when I had the glory of God within me all along, even though we didn't have a relationship. I want to submit to Him so that way He could continue to strengthen me within and also alongside me, and I want to grow in Him so that way in the future I could also strengthen others as well.
And the crazy thing about that speech that you guys just watched is, like, I say the first 10 seconds of it, that I had rehearsed in my mind. Everything after that did not come from me. Like, I truly believe to this day that the Spirit just took over and said all of those things. So I get dipped and the water was not warm at all. I was cold as heck afterwards. So it was the end of service, and I remember going to the altar on my knees. This was the first time I did this. And I said, Lord, let this not be the finish line, but let this be a stepping stone. And then shortly after that, a gentleman came up to me. He said, young man, you just got baptized by the water, but now you got to get baptized by the Spirit. You got to get baptized by that fire. And to me, I felt like that was confirmation of everything that I had just prayed for. So fast forward, and everybody's excited for me and my other brother, and we decided to fellowship at Portillo's. And I just remember everybody coming up to us saying, how do you feel? How do you feel? And I was telling them I'm on cloud 10. I hadn't yet gotten emotional or anything, because it was all a blur, like just processing the fact that everything I had been through, I came up to this point. And now things are about to, change. I drove home, and as I was approaching my apartment door, I started to get a little emotional. I could feel it. I was getting real sniffly. I entered my apartment and I grabbed the letter that my grandparents had sent me the day before, which was congratulating me on my decision. I actually want to read this for you guys. Hopefully I don't get teary-eyed. The card says, God has blessed you with the strength and ability to shine brightly in His world. He's shown you that anything is possible when you have faith, especially wonderful things like this. Congratulations. And they wrote, we are so happy you made the decision to get baptized, and we look forward to seeing the video. We love you and know you will have a wonderful life. We are proud of you beyond words. And right after the last word, that's when I started bawling in tears. I'm talking, I cried for like 10-15 minutes straight in 3 different locations. And I just kept telling myself, I was like, He was with you this whole time. Even your friends saw it, your parents saw it, like everybody saw it, and you were in such denial. And when I look back at my decision to get baptized, I remember holding back for so long because I told myself I didn't want this to be in vain. I thought if I'm going to get baptized, I only want it to happen once. And I still stand on that. But what I realized is that that mindset I had at that time, it kind of boxes what God can do in. It puts him in a box. He's a God of second chances, third chances, fourth chances. And I feel like from the time I got baptized all the way until now, I've encountered and grown close to individuals who rededicated their lives to God multiple times. And these are some of the most godly, most faithful people I know. So when I look back at that mindset I have, if I were to look at them under that context, I feel like that would be not only doing themselves a disservice, I feel like it doesn't glorify God the way it should. But I feel like in that moment, and the reason why I took so long to make that decision is because I was being real hard on myself. And honestly, I am at times, even to this day. But I feel like if you're watching this, that shouldn't stop you from making that decision to, get baptized, or to even follow God if you're watching this and you're an unbeliever. But you feel like you're being pushed towards that. I feel like wanting to feel that with him is not a bad thing, and to have that realization that, wow, I am a lot farther behind or further in the dark than I realized, and there is something that could get me out of that. And I feel like that is the beautiful thing about it, because I think about Paul. This man was a persecutor of all Christians. Anybody who believed in the gospel, he was murking them left and right. But what makes his story so beautiful was once he saw Jesus face to face, he bowed down, he trembled, he no longer could face who he was. And because of that, he went hard for the gospel. He was beaten, he was battered, he was stoned, shipwrecked. He went through all of this. He truly endured. Now, he didn't suffer more than Jesus, because he literally took the weight of everybody's sin, even the sins of those who don't believe currently. He took the weight of all of that. And he still did not let that weigh him down, because he rose again 3 days later. The stone was turned over. But there is no denying that Paul went from realizing that he was actually in a dark place and realizing that he was at fault, but he did not stay in those faults. Instead, he went hard for the gospel. He went hard to ensure that he was walking in the light, and to ensure that even those who were in the darkness would be in that light. As I share all of this, I'm extremely humbled, because even after I got baptized, I remember I fell into a huge sin like a month and a half after that, which I will have a video on that. And I've fallen many a times after that. But that doesn't disqualify the faith that I proclaimed, and the fact that I'm still walking in that, even in my hardships. So I say this to whoever is watching this, that do not feel like you are disqualified, but rather you should feel inspired and motivated to continue going, because there's probably a brother or sister right next to you who is going through something similar. And if you were to stop or feel disqualified, you're dimming the light that you're walking in. And therefore, you're dimming the light for everybody that you encounter. Because we are supposed to be children of the light, called to help those who are dwelling in darkness. We are the light of the world. So if every time we sinned, every time we fell short of the glory of God, which, newsflash, we all fall short of the glory of God, but every time we sinned or did something that didn't match up with that, and we literally accepted that, didn't own up to it, didn't repent from it, and just sat there, literally this world that we live in, which is a dark world, would remain that. There will be no sense of hope. There will be no light. There will be no optimism. There will be no love. All of these things will be shut off, because the people who can be the providers of that will be turning off their faucets for that. I'm extremely humbled, and I'm extremely blessed to know that after all that I've been through, and after all that I've learned, that I still feel love, and I feel comforted, and I feel like my life is in a better place than before I came to Christ. And my life is not perfect by any means. And even through the trials and tribulations, the ebbs and flows, I plan on continuing to follow him and to guide others onto the same track. So I'm gonna end my slight tangent here, but I hope that this message bless you in some way, and may God bless you and or know you. May his love shine brightly in you and through you today.
Cause it's not I, but him who resides in me. Former slave to